She didn't leave because she stopped loving him. She left because she saw who he was becoming. This is the story of a woman who loved a man deeply, but feared the darkness growing inside him. She saw the anger he inherited. She saw the pride that destroyed his father. She saw the silence that turned into cruelty. And she knew if she stayed he would slowly become the same man he once promised he would never be. So she made the hardest choice of her life. She let him go not because she stopped loving him, but because she loved him enough to save him from himself. This story is about generational pain, about breaking cycles, about walking away before love turns into damage, and about a woman strong enough to sacrifice her own happiness to protect the man she loved. If you are new here, please like this video and subscribe this channel. Now I start the story. The first time I saw him angry, it was not loud. It was quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavier than shouting. We were standing in his childhood kitchen. The walls still painted in that faded blue color his mother once chose. The house still carried the smell of old coffee and silence. His father sat at the table reading the newspaper like a king who ruled with nothing but fear. He did not raise his voice. He never needed to. His presence was enough. My love stood beside me, his jaw tight, his hands folded, his eyes fixed on the floor. I saw something in him that day. Not weakness, not fear, recognition, as if he was looking at his future. His father spoke about small things, about money, about responsibility, about how men must control their homes, how women must learn their place. Each sentence was not advice, it was a command. And my love listened. He did not defend me. He did not argue. He did not speak. On the drive home he was silent. The road stretched long and empty before us. Streetlights passing like slow warnings. His hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than necessary. I asked him if he was all right. He said yes. But his voice sounded like his father, calm, cold, controlled. That was the night I realized love alone is not enough to change what a boy has been taught since childhood. He was kind when we met, soft-spoken, protective in a gentle way. He used to bring me flowers without reason. He used to listen to my stories as if they were important. But after every visit to that house, after every conversation with that man, something shifted. It was small at first. He would correct my tone, tell me not to interrupt, tell me not to embarrass him in front of others. He never shouted. He did not need to. The control was learning how to breathe inside him. One evening we argued about something meaningless. I do not even remember what it was. Maybe dinner. Maybe a forgotten call. But I remember his eyes. They were not his anymore. They were his father's. Sharp. Demanding. Certain. He did not touch me. He did not insult me. He simply stood taller, spoke slower, and told me I should know better. The words were simple, but they carried weight. I went to the bathroom and locked the door. I stared at myself in the mirror, trying to understand how love can slowly turn into fear without ever raising its voice. I thought about his mother, quiet woman, gentle hands, soft eyes, always moving carefully around her husband as if the air itself could explode. I once asked her if she was happy. She smiled, the kind of smile that has learned to survive. And she said, "This is how men are." That sentence haunted me. This is how men are. It was not truth. It was surrender. Weeks passed. My love apologized often. He said he was stressed. He said he was tired. He said he was nothing like his father. And I wanted to believe him. Because loving him was easy. But seeing who he might become was not. Then one night everything became clear. We were at dinner with friends. Laughing. Talking. Enjoying ourselves. Someone made a joke about marriage. About men becoming like their fathers. Everyone laughed. Except him. His face changed. His smile disappeared. And he said, "A man must lead his home, or he loses respect." The table grew quiet. The words were not loud, but they were heavy. I felt something inside me break. Not my love, but my hope. When we got home I asked him why he said that. He said because it is true. He said weakness destroys families. He said women respect strength. He said his father was not perfect, but he kept control. Control. That word again. I looked at him and I saw two versions of the same man. The boy who once brought me flowers. And the man who was learning how to silence the woman he loved. I understood something that night. If I stayed, if I married him, if I built a life with him, I would slowly disappear. And one day he would stand exactly where his father once stood. Certain, untouchable, feared. And he would not even realize how he became him. Love can heal many things, but it cannot heal what someone refuses to confront. I lay awake beside him listening to his breathing. And for the first time, I did not feel safe. I felt responsible. Responsible for the choice that would decide who he becomes. Because sometimes letting someone stay is not love. Sometimes letting them go is the only way to break the cycle. That night I knew, if I truly loved him, I would have to walk away before he fully turned into his father. And that decision was only the beginning. The morning I decided to leave him, the sky was quiet. Not dark, not bright, just empty. He was still asleep beside me, one arm resting across the space where my body used to curl closer. I watched his face. In sleep he looked like the boy I first loved. Soft, unarmed, free from pride. I almost changed my mind. Love is dangerous like that. It makes pain look temporary. It makes red flags look small. It makes history look forgivable. But I remembered his father's kitchen. I remembered his mother's quiet smile. I remembered the word control. And I knew softness in sleep does not erase hardness in waking life. I made coffee, the sound of the machine louder than usual. My hands shaking not from fear, but from grief. Because leaving someone you love feels like tearing your own skin. When he walked into the kitchen he smiled. He kissed my forehead. He thanked me for the coffee. For a second I wondered if I had imagined everything. But then he said, "We need to talk about last night. You embarrassed me. Not are you okay? Not did I hurt you? Not what did you feel? You embarrassed me." The cycle was breathing again. I looked at him and I saw the fork in the road. One path where I apologize. Where I shrink. Where I adjust my voice. Where I slowly become smaller to protect his pride. Another path where I speak. And risk losing him. My heart pounded so loud I thought he could hear it. I told him I was not trying to embarrass him. I told him his words scared me. I told him sometimes he sounds like his father. The room changed. The air tightened. His jaw locked. His shoulders straightened. His voice slowed. Do not compare me to him. There it was. The anger was not explosive. It was controlled, measured, almost calm. And that made it more dangerous. I told him I was not attacking him. I was afraid. He stepped closer. Not violently. Not aggressively. But with authority. I am not my father. And you will not treat me like I am. You will not. The command slipped out naturally. Not a request. Not a discussion. A rule. My chest felt hollow. I realized he did not want reflection. He wanted reassurance. He did not want growth. He wanted agreement. I asked him something simple. If one day we have a daughter, and she tells you her husband makes her feel small, what will you tell her? He did not answer immediately. He looked confused. Then irritated. That is different. Different. That word told me everything. He could protect a daughter, but not question himself. He could see danger for others, but not for me. Tears filled my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not because I was strong, but because I knew if I cried he would call it emotional. And I was tired of being reduced to emotion. I told him I love you. His face softened for a moment. And I hate what I see growing inside you. The softness disappeared. You are overthinking. You are dramatic. You always push things too far. Always. The blame was smooth, familiar, inherited. I felt something inside me settle. A painful clarity. This was not a bad man. This was a man standing at the edge of becoming his father. And he did not see the edge. I walked to the bedroom, opened the closet, pulled out my suitcase. He followed. What are you doing? His voice still calm, still controlled. I am leaving. The silence that followed was louder than any scream. You are leaving over a conversation. No, I am leaving over a pattern. He laughed softly, not amused, but dismissive. You are proving my point. You run instead of fixing things. Fixing. As if I was the broken piece. I zipped the suitcase slowly. Every sound final. I told him I am not leaving because I stopped loving you. I am leaving because if I stay, you will never have to face yourself. And one day you will look at me the way your father looks at your mother. And you will think that is normal. His breathing changed. For the first time I saw something else. Fear. Not of losing me, but of being compared to the man he resented. I am not him. He said it again. But softer. I stepped closer. Then prove it. Not to me. To yourself. But I cannot stay and watch you become him. The tears finally escaped. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just honest. He did not stop me. He did not beg. He stood there frozen between pride and pain. And that is when I understood. If I stayed, he would choose pride. If I left, he might choose growth. Love is not always about holding on. Sometimes it is about stepping away so the other person is forced to see the mirror. When I reached the door, he said my name. Not angry. Not commanding. Just my name. I turned. His eyes were not his father's anymore. They were lost. Do you really think I could become him? I answered with truth. Yes. Unless you decide not to. I walked out before my strength faded. The door closed quietly. No scene. No screaming. No shattered plates. Just a woman choosing to break a cycle, and a man standing alone with the shadow of his father. That day I did not feel powerful. I felt broken. But sometimes breaking your own heart is the only way to save someone else's soul. And I did not know yet if he would fight the shadow, or become it. The first week without him felt unreal. Not peaceful. Not dramatic. Just hollow. I moved into a small apartment across the city. White walls. Quiet neighbors. A window that faced nothing but rooftops and sky. There was no history in that space. No memories. No arguments. No laughter. Just silence. And in that silence I kept asking myself if I had done the right thing. Love does not disappear just because you walk away. It lingers in small habits. Reaching for your phone. Cooking too much food. Turning to speak and finding no one there. At night I would lie awake and wonder what he was doing. Was he angry? Was he blaming me? Was he relieved? Or was he finally thinking? Days passed without a message. That hurt more than I expected. Because part of me wanted him to fight for me. To show up. To prove that he understood. But another part of me knew. If he came back too quickly, nothing would change. On the 8th day my phone lit up. Just one message. I am trying. Nothing else. No apology. No demand. No explanation. Just I am trying. My heart tightened. Trying what? Trying to miss me. Trying to forget me. Or trying to face himself. I did not answer immediately. I needed him to sit with his own words. That evening I ran into his mother at the market. Her eyes widened when she saw me. She looked smaller somehow. As if the weight of years had finally settled into her bones. She asked if we were all right. I told her the truth. No. She nodded slowly. As if she had expected it. He has been different. She said it quietly. Almost like a confession. Different how? Quieter. He spends time alone. He argues with his father. He leaves the house when things get tense. For the first time I saw something flicker in her eyes. Hope. She touched my hand. You did something I never could. Her voice trembled. You left. The word hung between us. Heavy. I realized then that my leaving was not only about him. It was about every woman who stayed because she believed that is how men are. That sentence no longer felt powerful. Felt broken. That night he called. I almost did not answer. But I did. His voice sounded tired. Not angry. Not proud. Just tired. I went to see a therapist. The words surprised me. He continued before I could speak. I thought you were exaggerating. I thought you were attacking me. But when you left the house felt different. Empty. Not because you were gone. But because I heard my father clearly. For the first time. He told me about an argument he had with his father. How he questioned the way his mother had been treated. How his father laughed. How that laugh felt like a warning. He said he saw himself in that moment. Standing there. Defending silence. And he hated it. I listened without interrupting. He said something else that stayed with me. When you left, you did not scream. You did not insult me. You did not beg. You just chose yourself. And I realized I have never seen a woman choose herself. Not my mother. Not my aunts. Not anyone. Your leaving scared me more than any fight could. Because I could not control it. Control. He said the word himself this time. And he sounded ashamed. I closed my eyes. This was the first real crack in the cycle. Not perfection. Not transformation. Just awareness. But awareness is where change begins. He asked if we could meet. Not to get back together. Not yet. Just to talk. I agreed. We met at a small park halfway between our homes. Neutral ground. The trees were bare. The air cold. He looked thinner. More serious. Less certain. We sat on a bench with space between us. He did not try to touch my hand. That alone told me something had shifted. He told me therapy was harder than he expected. That admitting fear felt weak.